No Zion, no Ingram, no problem for the Pelicans. And Klay gets ejected, but not before bragging about his ring collection. It's time to run it back.
Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up.
Happy Wednesday. Hello, gentlemen. Very serious faces on everyone this morning. I like to see it. Stadium insider Shams Charania, as always, bringing the knowledge. NBA vet Chandler Parsons. And, of course, co-host with Kevin Durant of the Et Ceteras, Eddie Gonzalez. How much do you hate the way I say that, by the way, Eddie? Let's talk about it.
I love it. I think we'll have to rebrand with that. With that pronunciation.
Fair enough. I know. I feel like I want to be British every time I say it. We had an interesting night in the league last night, to say the least. I was shocked to find out that Klay had it in him, enough to get ejected. Let's just get right into it. Warriors and Suns. This one was spicy, Shams, but I want to ask you, did Golden State let this one slip away?
I really think that the Suns took it, because the Warriors, they were right there. They had, I thought, decent control of the game throughout into the third quarter. And then you saw Klay Thompson kind of lose it. He gets ejected, and then the Warriors started to really fall apart. But to me, it was really the story of Devin Booker so far this season. His usage rate is actually is the lowest it's been in the last 3 seasons, but he's playing much more efficiently so far to start this year, averaging over 30 points a game, very efficient 3-point and field goal percentage. Chris Paul, on the other hand, he's averaging the lowest usage rate throughout for his entire NBA career. So he's only at 15%. So to me, that's a sign that they're starting to get other players involved. Devin Booker, Miles Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, you're starting to see kind of the turn of the Suns right now, going more youthful than relying on Chris Paul this season.
Chandler?
Yeah, you know what? I think we're going to see a lot of this, obviously, from the Warriors. Steve Kerr's smart, and they're okay with losing games now to get their young guys like Moody, like Wiseman, Kuminga, that experience when they know they're going to be in the playoffs. They know they're going to be playing in these big games. They're sparing these games now where they're obviously hoping still to win, but they're getting these guys live game experience that you can't teach in practice. You can't teach in shoot around. So I think the Warriors, they're frustrated. But they're okay with this. I think this is the type of loss that's going to pay off in the long run with getting these guys the exposure early on. And I think that's what they're doing. I think they're throwing them in the fire early. Klay, obviously, he was frustrated. Was he frustrated because he was 0 for 5 from 3 and 1 for 8 from the field, or that they were? Who knows? But I think it's just one game early on that the young guys are getting good experience in. Obviously, they want to win, but I think they'll be okay. Obviously, in the long run.
Yeah, I think. Look, Reggie Miller said it over and over last night. There's just going to be these games. They mean more to the opponents. These are the big bad Warriors. These are the reigning champs, and we're on national TV. We got to prove a point. We talked about it yesterday. It's a big game for the Suns. They have to show up. They have to prove that they still have that in them, and they did. And it's not an excuse for the Warriors, but it kind of is just the way it is. We all show up to work on the wrong Thursday and just like want to go back to sleep, right? That's not to say the Warriors weren't trying. They weren't giving it a go. Steve Kerr put the starters back in the fourth quarter, down, I think, 16. They made a little run of it. But, yeah, there was a little bit more energy on the Suns side. And going back to Devin Booker, it's good to see him be the player that – he's one of those players that Hoopers love him. And fans kind of wondered what he could be for years because they were losing so many games. So it's dope to see him thrive in these moments. And he was ready for it. And, you know, he let Klay have a piece of mind too.
Yeah, he did. And speaking of Klay, it's shocking to me that was his first ejection ever. Man, he was fired up. Chandler, when you saw this, what was going through your mind as far as why he's so frustrated? Because I don't remember seeing him this angry. So what's the deal?
No, yeah, me neither. I think obviously this is his own game last night wasn't there. Like I said, he was 1 for 8 from the field. He was 0 for 5 from 3. He wasn't playing well. It's hard for me to imagine that if he was hot and he was knocking down shots, he would have reacted like this. But something like this is interesting with all the drama surrounding them. The Draymond Poole situation, Klay getting ejected, and these young guys. You know, the Warriors have they've extended them. All these guys are getting paid, Wiggins, Poole, and those are it's almost like it seems like the end of this era is coming and there's this new wave of young guys, and maybe that's kind of leaking into them, and maybe that's a situation there. But I honestly just think Klay had an off night, was pissed off, and was just barking about his rings.
was doing
I mean, to really take a look back, you saw Steve Kerr said post game that the minutes restriction is actually something that's frustrating Klay Thompson. And I know from speaking to people around the Warriors that that's something that he's dealing with. That's something that Draymond Green has dealt with so far this year. These guys don't really want to be on minutes restriction, especially Klay Thompson starting the year. But they both miss so much time, so much valuable time in training camp that they have to be. So I'm curious, Chandler, from your perspective, if you're a guy like Klay Thompson accomplished, to be on a minutes restriction in big games like this, that must be a little tough.
It's honestly, it's unbearable. It's you get these 5-6 minute stints and you're coming out. So mentally you're doing things that you normally wouldn't be doing. He's probably taking some shots knowing he's coming out. It's hard to get in a rhythm when you just have these little segments. And I went through it with my career where we started, I started coming off the bench. I started timing it where I could be in at the end of the game. You try and mix and match and find a rhythm, but it's very, very hard, especially for Klay. He's never gone through something like this. So now he's trying to work himself back in. He's trying to get his condition. He's trying to get his legs, all while playing within the flow of their offense and not, doing anything crazy, knowing he's coming out. So it's tough. Obviously, I think as the season goes on, they'll extend his minutes and he'll get back in that normal feel. But it definitely is tough, and it takes a toll on you just knowing that even if he gets 5, 6, 7 threes and goes on one of those Klay heaters, he's coming out.
Yeah, I think, look, Klay is an easygoing guy. Last night might have just been last night. But there is a lot going on with him. There's a lot to consider with his situation, not only the minutes restriction, but his place on the team. Chandler mentioned it. They have Jordan Poole, who is basically the replacement in a lot of ways. They've drafted guards in the last few drafts. They're clearly looking forward to the future with or without Klay. He only has 1 year in his contract left after this year, and there's no player option. There's no team option. They both can cut ties. We don't know what the idea is with them. This is his first year with a full summer to fully recover, fully get in shape. He wants to show what he can do. The minutes restriction is frustrating. Nobody's denying that. He's only averaging 11 points a game. He's not shooting that well. He started season slow before. It's not something to be concerned about, but you have to imagine he's frustrated with everything that's going on with him and the team.
And Charles Barkley spent a long time last night talking about that. Sorry about that. No, I wanted to ask you because Charles Barkley spent a long time talking about how this is not the same Klay. And I don't know if that's an age thing or just simply, he was really vocal about not playing pickup games this offseason. He's a little, I think, scarred mentally about the injury and he doesn't want to repeat that. So I don't know if Charles was being a little bit overly dramatic or it really is the beginning of the backside of Klay's career, which is really hard to say out loud for me, Chandler.
Yeah, and listen, I know Klay very, very well. He's the most unselfish, best positive guy ever. But when you see now Andrew Wiggins is their second best player, he gets the extension. Jordan Poole gets the extension. Like Eddie just said, the future of Klay Thompson is shortening. And that's stressful and that's tough. And obviously he's had a great career and you can't knock that. But the Klay Thompson we're used to seeing isn't really the same. And him, Draymond's kind of in that same category where I know they feel it. They don't want to talk about it. And they're literally going to eat and practicing with their replacements every single day. So they want to win. They want to win a championship there and they're going to do whatever they can. But that's a difficult situation to go to work with the guy that's taking your job basically next year.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready for any of this, guys. But on the other side, look, we've talked about the Warriors, and rightfully so. They are the defending champs. But the Suns, and it was just yesterday we were thinking, oh, is their window over? Did they miss their shot last year? Then they come out with a pretty dominant win. Did we underestimate this Phoenix squad, Eddie?
I think a lot of the concerns are still true. But, yeah, they won 65 games last year. They ran away with the 1 seed. Had they not had a COVID outbreak or whatever they're calling what happened in Game 7, do they go deeper into the playoffs? Very likely. They have all the makings of a contender. If they get something useful for Jay Crowder, even more so. They have a big who can stretch the floor a little bit, who can guard multiple positions. They've been in huge games. They have leaders. They have a great coach. They have all the makings of a contender. I still have my concerns about Chris Paul. He had a decent game yesterday. Killed my parlay. Sorry, Chandler. But underrate, write them off too early. I'm not so sure. I still think there's a gap between the Warriors, despite what happened yesterday, Celtics, the Bucks, teams like that, and then the Suns.
All right, fair enough. We're staying in the Western Conference. Mavs, Pelicans. man, this Pelicans team is fun to watch. They didn't have Zion, they didn't have Brandon Ingram, and yet they still come out with the win, moving to 3-1 on the season. But Luka Doncic, who is right now the runaway favorite to win MVP, has a decision to make with 4 seconds left in the game and goes down for the layup. Why? Someone explain to me what happened here. Chandler, you explain to me what happened here, please.
Yeah, I think he obviously lost track of time. I think maybe he thought maybe there was 5 or 6 or 7 seconds left. He can get a quick bucket, force them to, make their free throws, call a timeout, and get a, half court possession like they did. When it gets down that close, and honestly, still with 4 seconds, you should be able to get a better look than they got. And I know he's hit some of those crazy step back game winners, but at the end of the day, that's a very, very low percent, low effective shot that he's hit. But I can't imagine that's the shot that they wanted on the road. Sometimes you do go for the win instead of a tie. But I'm trying to get to the rim, I'm trying to get an easier bucket, at least get to the foul line in that situation. I don't hate the decision for him to go to layup with 4 seconds because, like I said, they still have to make free throws, which they did miss one. So they technically could have won the game last night. It's better than settling for that 3 that he took at the end of the game. He could have done that with 4 seconds and the game just been over. So, I think it's 50-50 call. I just think they got to get something better at the end of the game than a step back 35-footer.
I'm with Chandler. My issue is the second shot. I kind of get the rationale of the layup. Look, they gave it to him. He tried to draw some contact, get a free throw. He's a premier flopper in this league. I love Luka, but he knows what he's doing when he gets the contact. It ended up working out in a weird way. I'd imagine he knew there was a timeout and figured, hey, look, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. It's all happening really fast. He knows it takes 1 second to get that step back, and the whole arena knew he was going to do that step back when they got the ball back. So like I said, I'm with Chandler. The step back is more the issue for me than the layup.
And on the other side, the Pelicans, no Zion, no Ingram. They're a fun team to watch, but fun is one thing. But are they good? I mean, it feels like they're figuring some things out and able to adapt very quickly on the draw there, Eddie. Are you liking what you're seeing from this New Orleans team?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if Trey Murphy is going to shoot 100% every game, they're going to be deadly. But you can see the balance in their offense. You can see the versatility in the way every starter scored at least 12 points. Trey's actually the only one who went over 20. 3 double-digit scores off the bench. They got it in every different way. What I like is they can go big and they can go small-ish with Larry Nance and even Jackson Hayes. Nance gives them the ability to be a smaller, quicker team late in games against a team like the Mavericks that doesn't want to play a center late. And so they just matched them with it. They switched everything. They made it difficult. I think Willie Green, his approach to Luka was major last night. I'm very curious. Chandler, you played with James. You played with the very beginnings of ISO James. What do you think about the strategy of like, look, we're just going to switch. We're going to hang on to all your shooters. We're going to make you do it. Is that the right way to approach a guy like this?
I think so. I think especially with the Pelicans' current roster, I mean, they have such a deep roster where they can throw different looks at him. They can throw pesty little Alvarado at him. They can show length. They have bigs like Jackson Hayes and Nance that can switch those pick and rolls and guard the perimeter. So I think with their roster makeup, they're tough for the Mavs. And look, this is just one game in October that Luka still played outrageously good. But this is a huge sign for the Pelicans that without 3 starters and their 2 stars, this is a big win. And this is the win that, month from now, 2 months from now, they're breaking down this film showing like, look, this is what we're capable of when guys are out, like next man up mentality. And then they showed that last night that they can beat pretty much anybody, even without their stars.
Speaking of Shams, updates.
Yeah, I think you really have to give them credit for the way that they've drafted. I mean, Herb Jones and like these guys, these young guys, even when you look at down the line, Jose Alvarado, undrafted, Trey Murphy, I think they have waves upon waves of talent on this team that can make them dangerous, even when Zion Williamson and Brandon Ingram out. And they don't know when those 2 guys are going to come back. There's hope that Zion Williamson can come back by the weekend, but Brandon Ingram is really week to week at this point with that concussion and head issues. So this team is going to try to stay afloat as long as possible.
I mean, they have to be feeling decent this morning, waking up thinking we pulled that off without those 2, and they will be coming back at some point. And that's the silver lining. So yeah, it's having seen the New Orleans Pelicans a lot at the end of last season here in San Antonio, I'm excited for them. I think they're fun to watch, and we'll see what happens. That was last night, though. We've got a big one tonight. We hope, for Eddie's sake. It's Nets, Bucks. We got to talk about it right now. The Nets sitting at 1-2. The Bucks have only played a couple games. They're undefeated so far. But I ask you, Eddie, to predict the future, what version of Ben Simmons will we see tonight?
He should have some confidence going into this game. It's a preseason game, but his performance against the Bucks in the preseason was kind of the guiding light for Nets and Nets fans to start this season. He defended Giannis really well. He attacked the ball. He drove to the lane. He did his distribution thing. But you could see what that team is supposed to be, how they're supposed to be this switchable defense, how Ben in a lot of ways can be the anchor of that, how he's going to guard other teams' best players, and how there are certain players in this league that he just bothers. He's 6'10". He's got long arms. He's strong. He should be able to defend a guy like Giannis. Tonight's night, we really see it. Tonight's night, the Bucks will be playing their true rotation. They'll have a real home crowd tonight, and it's a real good opportunity for him to show it. For all of the jokes about his game against the Grizzlies and fouling out, he was more aggressive than we had seen him at this point. He took a couple of different shots. He shot a three. Are we going to see that all-star Ben Simmons who averaged like 18 and 11 or 18 and 10? Probably not. But if he can be a strong defensive anchor against Giannis, then that's got a good chance tonight.
Chandler, you agree with them? You expect that?
Yeah, I do. I think the Nets are the biggest confusing team for me because they're so talented, and when they're on, they are going to be tough to beat. So tonight, obviously the Bucks are one of the top teams in the East, and I agree with Eddie. I think Ben Simmons tonight should take this as a one-on-one challenge, and every time Giannis is on the court, Ben Simmons, I got him. I'm going to bully him. I'm going to use my strength. I'm going to use my size. I am going to leave my imprint on this game on the defensive end. Knowing I'm struggling offensively and you can't buy a bucket, I am going to do anything I can tonight to lock up Giannis as much as I can. I think that's the key to his success would have to be on that side of the floor tonight.
All that being said, one guy that I never worry about showing up is Kevin Durant. So if you're the Bucks strategy wise, what do you plan on doing as far as containing Durant tonight? Who wants to take that one first, Chandler?
You really can't ever contain KD. You cross your fingers and cross your toes. No, I think the biggest thing with him is you make it hard for him to catch. You push him out a little bit. You make him physical. I like switching on him. It's just tough. The guy can do everything. I think he's one of the best scorer in the league with his size and what he can do. It's honestly just up to him whether he's having an off night or not. You can make it more difficult, getting more physical with him, but yeah, there's no recipe to stop that cat.
Shams, I want to ask you. Go ahead.
I was going to say, as biased viewer, the Bucks are always interesting to me because they approach Kevin in a bunch of different ways. They essentially got PJ Tucker to guard Kevin, and it almost didn't work with the performances he had. They like to throw Drew on him. They actually like to keep Giannis off him as much as they can to help. And I understand the strategy. When you drive by a guy and then run into Giannis, that's discouraging. That's frustrating. So, I'm interested to see it. They're missing a few of their guys. I think in a perfect world, they maybe do Chris on him, and Chris obviously won't be around for a while.
I mean, that's almost like you wrote out the segue to Shams on that one. Yeah, Chris Middleton is obviously still out, Shams. So who on this roster do they look to sort of maybe not take his place, but kind of fill in while he's out?
Well, they're starting Grayson Allen right now, but you need Drew Holiday to continue to step up. Bobby Portis, we haven't really seen him break out so far this regular season, but that's another guy that you got to look at. And Giannis Antetokounmpo has a lot on his plate on a nightly basis. It's basically like he's got to be Superman, especially in a game like tonight. So they're going to have to continue to buy time without Chris Middleton, but also Pat Connaughton. They're both going to be back at some point, hopefully for the Bucks mid to late November. So they still have a few weeks here left.
I'd like to excuse my face when you said Grayson Allen. As this show goes on, you guys will begin to understand my feelings towards certain players. And Grayson Allen always makes my face crumple. So I'm apologizing now ahead of time. I'm sorry. We are going to take a quick break here. But coming up next, guess what? How long did we make it? 19 minutes. We got Russell Westbrook updates. And to sort of cleanse the palate, we're going to show you dunks upon dunks upon dunks. It's all coming back. Some of the best poster dunks of, the weekend night. When we come back, I'll run it back. All right, Shams with the tweet. They're listing Russell Westbrook hamstring as doubtful to play Wednesday, and that is tonight against the Nuggets. That, of course, tweet from yesterday, Shams. Okay, what is the latest on the Westbrook front?
I'm told Russell Westbrook is not expected to play tonight, and this is a hamstring issue that he dealt with at the end of the preseason. And I'm told there was a setback yesterday that occurred, and that's why he's expected to sit tonight and then reevaluate him going into Friday's game in Minneapolis. But right now, the Lakers are going to spend the day trying to figure out who's going to start in Russell Westbrook's absence. He's been the starter after they brought him off the bench to end the preseason. But whether it's Austin Reeves, Kendrick Nunn, Troy Brown, they're going to go in a different direction for tonight at the very least. But it is very curious, depending on how they play tonight, how do they move forward? Do they bring Russell Westbrook off the bench? How do they manage the Russell Westbrook situation? Will be very interesting to monitor if they are able to pull out a win tonight.
The timing is, well, it's perfect, quite frankly. It's the perfect storm because the Lakers, of course, are 0-3. And if somehow their first win of the season comes tonight without Russell Westbrook, cue the overreaction, Chandler. What do you expect? And will we be wrong to overreact, or would it be actually the right reaction?
It's a lose-lose for Russ, honestly, because like you said, he's not playing. If they win tonight, it's going to shine even more light. Like, look how much better we are with Russ. Look, like, and it's just going to look bad. Although people that know basketball know that's not the exact reason. I do think Russ being out tonight is almost more of a relief for Darvin Ham. All the headlines, all the drama surrounding him. This is a chance for them just to go out, have fun, play. It just concerns me when you just say we're trying to figure out who starts. Troy Brown, Austin Reeves, like they just don't have the talent this year to sub in to where, like now all of a sudden I have the Lakers since Russell Westbrook's out. Like, no, I just don't see it. I don't think their team is good. I don't think they're deep. They have zero shooting. But it is a bad situation for Russ to be in, because if they win tonight, people are going to shit on him even more than they already do.
It's hard to believe.
Which is tough to do.
Like, I know. It's like, how much more is there?
He's being honest.
As somebody who comes here every morning and has to talk about basketball, I would love nothing more than the Lakers winning this game in a blowout fashion, shooting 50% from three and all of that. Like, the dramatics are hilarious. But Chandler,
why do you hate Russ, Eddie? Why do you hate Russ?
but Chandler's right. Like, the issues are way deeper on their roster than Russ. So it's tough. There's no way out of this for Russ. We've been talking about it. We're going to talk about it until he's a Spur or a Hornet or a Pacer or whomever he lands with. But like, there's no winning for him. If they shoot well tonight, it won't be because he wasn't there. It'll be because a broke clock is right once every week or whatever. But it's tough. It'll be interesting to see. What I'm more interested in is kind of like the energy around the team and the body language and if he's there, if he's the supportive teammate and all that stuff. We'll see. I still think the Nuggets run them out the gym.
He is going to be in Denver. He will be on the bench, so it will be interesting to see the energy.
Wait,
nice
so Eddie. Oh, I can't wait for the outfit, first of all. But so you think no matter what, whoever's on the court for the Lakers, you don't think they're winning regardless?
Well, I think the Nuggets are the better team, and they should show that. But we've seen LeBron do crazier things than beat the Nuggets in October.
Can I ask a question? If I'm Russ Westbrook, what's to say that my hamstring doesn't hurt for the rest of the season? Chandler, is that possible?
Listen.
Can it?
It's like I said on the show, I think yesterday, he's in a tough, dark place where he doesn't want to play on this team anymore. He's not having fun. He hates playing in LA at Crypto. He's not enjoying it. It is officially, I think, at his breaking point where he's just not enjoying playing the game, and he's getting all this criticism, and that takes a toll. As much as he can say it doesn't, he shrugs it off. It bothers him. Anybody that knows him, anyone that doesn't know him, can see that he's visibly frustrated, and it's a tough spot. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if his hamstring keeps hurting until his agent finds a new home for him. And I don't think the Lakers would care if his hamstring kept hurting. So it's like I said, it's you know what I mean? It's a tough spot, like I said, where there's really no win for Russ until he's just out of there, man.
It was like It was like 8 months ago we had a certain LA native point guard have a stiff hammy just long enough to get to another team. And then, I don't know, James stretched it out in Philly, and Hammy was right. He was back on the court. So would not surprise me at all. It might be the right move, to be honest.
Climate change on a hammy is probably all you need. Shams, I want you to blink twice if half of your day is spent on Westbrook watch. Just let us know you're
it's
okay.
It's always on Westbrook watch. It's always on Westbrook. We'll definitely have something new to discuss on Monday, I'm sure.
Whew, you wake up Westbrook, go to bed Westbrook. On the other side of things, though, we have Jamal Murray, who's, for me, one of the positives of this season is getting to see him back on the court. How long before you kind of see the old Jamal Murray coming out, Eddie?
I mean, hopefully soon. You know, he's only averaging 12 points a game. He's playing limited minutes, obviously, but it's been all like, I think 18 months since he tore his ACL. They were talking about him coming back late last year to play. You know, they said he was structurally fully recovered. He actually came out last year before the playoffs and said, "No, I'm not playing. Leave me alone." But he should be healthy. He should be in game shape. Hopefully we get to see that soon. He was a game changer when he was healthy and good to go.
Agreed.
Yeah, if they can get Jamal Murray from the bubble, anything close to that their team's going to take a huge leap, because that dude was on another level. He was hooping. He was their best player. So I hope, as a fan and someone that's went through knee injuries, it takes time and stuff, but I hope to see him at that level, because, man, he was fun to watch in Orlando. So
fun to watch. Shams, we say goodbye to you now as you go back to work. The hard stuff begins. And we will see you on Monday. Thank you as always. But you guys, we've got the segment's back. It's all about this man has a family, and it's dunks, it's embarrassments, it's things that you don't want to be in on the receiving end. And we start things off with Brandon Clark. Chandler, I'd love to hear your take on what's more embarrassing, to be dunked on, to be denied, to be crossed over. Like, I don't know which one's more embarrassing, but here we have a dunk. So tell me, how's this feel? That's not too bad, right?
Yeah, no, this one for De'Aaron Sharp, this isn't embarrassing. It's a lob. It's not like he went chest to chest and bodied him. It's more of a better pass from Ja, honestly. Just knowing Brandon Clark has bounce like that. It's a great lob. He caught it with one hand. He finished, but I wouldn't even really consider that a poster. He's kind of behind Sharp.
Samesies on that, Eddie.
Yeah, same. I mean, look at him, how he inbounds the ball. He's over it as soon as it happens. Like, look, yeah. I'm trying to guard Ja Morant over here. Whatever, Brandon Clark, do your thing.
Whatever. I'm gonna let Brandon Clark have his shine.
If you pause that when he dunks the ball, his nuts are already on his head before he even sees him coming. So you can't consider that a poster.
That is the rule. That's what we look to. Okay, fine. How about this? Because I do think if a guy is 6'1" in Devontae Graham, and he blocks a dude who's 7 feet, that's something.
Yeah, that's pretty embarrassing. Like, what are we doing there, Walker Kessler? I don't know what he was doing trying to take off from over there. Is the buzzer about to go off or what? But shout out to Devontae. That's nice. That's like the little guy dream right there. I don't think I've blocked a shot in like 8 years. But you got to believe the last time I did, I cursed and screamed and all that. So that's dope. I love that.
Oh, he's little
I don't
too.
even know if Walker Kessler was going to dunk that. I think he bit off more than he can chew here on the takeoff. and Devontae Graham, like, look, he blocks the ball under the rim. So I don't know if he was going to end up finger rolling this or what, but that honestly, Kessler made Devontae Graham. Yeah, that's just confusing.
I do love how much the Pelicans look like they're having fun out there. And by the way, 2 last names, Walker Kessler. Never trust that guy. Not to be trusted ever. I love this next one. Because we talked about Kelly Olynyk the other day, and by all accounts, you guys have said he's the nicest, sweetest man. No one has problems with him. But Jeff Green decides to make him think about life. Ooh, old man Green, y'all.
Jeff's array of posters is absurd. Like, it's up there with superstars. I don't know why guys keep trying it. You got to just give him the lane. It's over. It's fine. It's 2 points.
Yeah. Jeff Green has bodies, and you can tell Kelly here is just like trying to go vertical, doing like the right defensive play here, but he just simply didn't jump high enough to even come close to contesting this.
No. It's
both hands up.
His only other option there. Yeah, his only other option is to step outside of the key and try and take a charge, but then it could have got really ugly for him.
Nope. I just, you know what? People are trying. Okay, we made fun We did, and rightfully so. We made fun of James Harden earlier in the season because of the shimmy that turned into a miss. But here he is dropping someone and completing it. And not just someone, actually, Mathurin. So, yeah, the rookies. Welcome.
Welcome to the league, bro. Welcome to tonight. You have to guard James Harden, and they don't call fouls on him. Enjoy.
Hey,
right.
You notice he didn't hit him with the shimmy, though, after the shimmy air ball in the last game. So he was a little less confident in this, where he would have gave the shimmy, but he made up for it, and that's a filthy patent move he's got going now.
I'm actually shocked he didn't shimmy, because it is a rookie. Like, that's your time.
The timeout after I hit a shot, that's lovely. Because now I get to dance. Yeah, now I get to like really let the arena know I did that just now. So they gave him a gift with the timeout.
For sure.
I sometimes I feel like that would be more embarrassing to get just sort of leveled that way than a dunk. But I don't know. I'll never know. I'm just merely
also, if I'm Mathurin, I'm pissed at Rick Carlisle, like Eddie said, for calling the timeout. Now I got to sit there for a minute while they keep replaying it in the arena. My teammates are kind of busting my balls about this. You cannot leave me on an island and call a timeout after I get dropped like that.
You know what, though? Maybe that will be his welcome to the league moment that he'll remember forever. We'll see. We'll ask him in 5 years.
You give me floor seats like that, I need the tapes. I'm deleting all the tapes. That's not cool.
How about Kyle Kuzma on Andre Drummond? Oh, that was weird. Huh.
Yeah, if I'm Billy Donovan, I'm more just shredding Drummond for not giving me a better effort here. At least give a foul, do something. Like you're a big man with a small forward trying to dunk on you. You gotta put his ass on the ground at least, or contest it more than that.
It's a weird pirouette. I don't get it.
Dre, you're out there for that. Like, what are we doing? He wanted to see the dunk. Like, you're rebounding, you're blocking shots. Come on, buddy. What's going on?
Yeah,
I do like the twirl.
And as a big, though, it's more acceptable to get dunked on. You're challenging more shots at the rim. You were going to get dunked on as a center in the NBA. So it's less embarrassing, I think, for him. He's got to give us more effort there.
It looked fun. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Karl Anthony Towns calling out a teammate about his diet. What? And Wembanyama is a better prospect than LeBron. One of these dudes is going to convince us of that next.
Run it back, run it up.
Ant was just telling us that he puts a lot of this on him, and he's got to be better in back-to-backs, that he has not done that so far. Can you help him through that, or just is that a young player trying to figure out what to do in this league and how to answer the bell 2 nights in a row?
Maybe I could do a better job of teaching him how to take care of his body, diet and everything. So that'll be on me. I know y'all think it's funny up here when he talks about Popeyes and all that. That doesn't make me happy to hear.
You know how I know that bothers him? It's because nobody asked about his diet or what he eats, and it's just sitting there at the top of his brain. Chandler, it felt like a moment maybe where, that might be a little bit awkward in the locker room later. Do you agree?
Yeah, it's just super corny for him to say that. I don't know if it's his attempt of trying to be a leader, but leaders don't do that in public. Leaders privately pull their player, their teammate over there, and they talk about that, or they get with the training staff, they get with the chef, they get with whatever they have to get to address this issue. You do not air that out after a bad loss when emotions are already high, doing that to, another star player on the team. I just think that's completely out of bounds, and that's not how you lead. That's not how you get things done. And I think that's super whack.
Yeah, I got 2 issues with this. One, the question, he gives an Ant Edwards quote, and Ant is taking accountability for a bad game. Ant is jumping on the sword for a game that they lost and should not have lost. And that's accountability. That's right. A guy being a leader, stepping up and saying, hey, we're going to be better. And my other issue is, why the Popeye slander? There's nothing. What are we doing? But yeah, that was just so random. I don't what's that about? What are you doing, Cat? He definitely could have handled that better. And I don't know, Cat's just quirky. He's weird, I guess.
He looked so mad, and it's like he took over a dad's face. Like he just was very disappointed. A very odd moment, indeed. But yeah, you're right. Popeyes did take some shrapnel in that, and I have no idea why. That was a little bit odd. But moving on, we had a fight. We had a skirmish. We had a tete-a-tete, if you will. This was Saturday night. Heat Raptors. Caleb Martin has been suspended in this one. Really, this is my excuse to ask Chandler if you've ever been involved in an on-court fight.
A fight? No. Something like this where I've been like a little mix-up. Me and Melo got into it at the free throw line.
Oh.
Kind of something similar to this where you're boxing out and Martin hears this isn't malicious. Obviously that was a little extra, but he's just trying to box out. It's a physical play. The guy comes over his back. Honestly, if you're the Heat, this is something that you're okay with being Caleb Martin. You need that tough, enforcer. And if this is going to maybe spark them and get them going, this isn't the end of the world. If it's the playoffs and now you're suspended the game, I think it's, ignorant. But no, me, I'm more of a lover than a fighter, Michelle.
Oh, wow. Eddie, I don't even know what to follow up with that. What are you going to say to that?
I'm impressed by the double leg takedown. I watch MMA sometimes. That was pretty good by Caleb Martin. I wasn't sure what the issue was. They got a little tangled up on the box out, but I agree with Chandler. I think this is one of those things. It's like, hey, whatever, you did it. We're talking about a team that last year got riled up and really pushed themselves into the conference finals because their best player and their coach almost fought in the middle of a game they were winning. So I think they'll be fine over there. It looked a little crazy though. As a fan, I love when it gets a little intense and heated. I know it's too. I never understand when the
craziest thing now.
Stop talking. Like, no, let them talk. What do we go?
Yeah, let them talk.
It's just crazy now to see an altercation like this because in the NBA, it's mostly fluff, right? Because you don't want to get suspended. You don't want to lose money. So when guys actually go at it and fight like this, they really don't care. And it's something serious. So like this was interesting because this is real contact here. And this is like money out of their pocket. This isn't just like fake hold me back NBA fight.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Caleb must have had a long day or something.
Yeah, maybe he's just mad. You know what? We never know what's going on in somebody's life. It could be a whole lot of things going on the other side of things. Adam Silver, we've talked a little bit about sort of the tanking that we expect from this season. And in addressing tanking, he has said that he thinks that the changes that they have made as a league have sort of, taken some of the incentive away to tank. And obviously that has to do with the percentages and tweaking them as far as being the worst team. But do you guys agree? Do you think there have been enough changes implemented that tanking is no longer enticing, if you will, Eddie?
I think the biggest change there is the play-in. There's a real opportunity at playoff games for teams like the Kings or the Wolves last year and the Spurs to go, hey, on a normal season, we would have fell back a month ago. But there's actually a chance we'll get an extra game. We might get 2 extra games. We might get 4. So let's push it. I think that's the biggest change. I still think teams are always going to be jostling, both at the top and the bottom of the standings. Last year, we've seen teams trying to avoid Toronto because of the COVID restrictions, trying to avoid what they thought were going to be the 8 seed Nets. And right. So it's always going to happen. But I think the playoffs have been, the play-in has been huge as far as motivating in that sense.
You agree, Chandler?
Yeah, totally. I think honestly, the play-in is really the only factor I see here because you look at teams this year, like Sacramento, like Charlotte. These are teams that I think with the normal playoffs, these guys are, they're tanking and they're trying to get Vic. Now it's like, whoa, we could be a top 10 team. We can make the play-in. Anything can happen. So I do think that's taking a little bit of it out. But like Eddie said, there's still going to be some, load management or no back-to-backs or guys sitting out for really no reason just to try and avoid winning for sure.
Can't fix it perfectly. Nothing can be. It's time to convince me. Eddie, I'm hoping we give you an easier one to start things off today. This is where I give you a premise and you do your best to convince me and us if it's true or not. We'll start with Ben Simmons. Eddie, convince us that he will be an all-star this season.
An easy one, huh? I see what we did here. The Nets should be a great team. If there is this world where he gets into his rhythm and begins to actually attack on offense and continues to be a defensive force without fouling, there's absolutely a world where he makes it as a forward or, some K-pop hack like Harrison Barnes, and he gets
fun.
1 trillion votes. If Ben turns into 2019 Ben, yeah, that's an all-star.
Are you convinced, Chandler? There was a little fading off there in the end.
I don't know. I think they're going to get 2 All-Stars. It's going to be KD and Kyrie. I think it's a stretch to say he's an All-Star, but yeah, like he said, if they win enough games and they happen to get in, 3 All-Stars, he, I guess, would be the 3rd choice, but oof, I don't see it.
Oof. All right. Well, this is a slight chance. All right, Chandler, you're up. Convince me and us that Wembanyama is a better prospect than LeBron was. That's a big one.
Listen, LeBron was, still, he's the best prospect ever. Thousands of people would line up to watch. I remember as a kid going home and I was watching his games. So now when you're looking at, Wembanyama, I think the biggest difference is his size, right? 7'4", everything I hear about is closer to 7'6", and we've never really seen a human being with his size and his length and his skill set that can move and is agile and is as mobile as him. So I think the biggest difference also is this guy's been playing against pros for 2 years. LeBron was doing what he was doing against high schoolers. So I think when I'm trying to make the argument, I think that has a factor in that he's more ready right away, which is crazy to think because LeBron was unbelievable his rookie year. But that would be the edge to me, is that this guy we've never seen anything like him at this size, at this length, that can handle and shoot the ball and move like he did, who's also been playing against grown men for the last 2 years. So that would be, it's interesting. It's tough. LeBron to me is a crazy prospect, but this guy is probably the closest thing that I've seen since.
Eddie, you think so?
I agree. I like the last statement for sure. It's the most sure shot we've had since LeBron. It's been 20 years. This is why they say generational. It's been a generation. It's time for this generation's guy, and it looks like it's him.
It looks like something's happening here. Okay, Eddie, this is going to be a bonding moment for all of us, I think. You have to convince us that you could make a contested layup for $1 million. And this is based on some video that I have now watched. It's a league. Tell me what you do. So you play in this league.
Okay, so
what is
this? It's called the Sunday Wash Club. I'm a transplant to New York, so I've been looking for games to play in. It's a bunch of media members. My guy Jarrell, he's an editor at Sports Illustrated.
Awesome.
He started the runs. We hoop all over New York. It's me, lockdown defense, nice break. Now, a contested layup in the NBA, that was contested. I mean, look, I got a little bit to me. How many attempts do I get? That's what I need to know. Because we got to try. Dude, that's not fair. That's not fair. But look, I got a little bit happening over there. I think on the right day.
Wow.
On the right day, in my right pair of KDs, I think I could do it. I think maybe not somebody as tall as Chandler, but a guard contests me, I might be able to make it happen.
Listen, if Eddie can go up for a layup and he's got Andre Drummond doing the spin out of there, I got Eddie bodying him for a bucket, no doubt.
There we go.
If I had Andre Drummond doing a spin under there, I could do that. Like, I feel like
Michelle.
I'm not taking you down. I'm just saying. I don't know, Eddie. I feel like the confidence that I just saw in that video, I believe in you. I believe in you. Okay, yeah, no, that was our first bonding. That was us becoming best friends. We're going to take a quick look at a few games that we've got coming up tonight. It's the Sixers and the Raptors. The Sixers, they finally won one, but they've also lost 16 of their last 17 against Toronto. So is this just one of those teams that they cannot get around, Chandler? It happens, right?
Yeah, every team has kind of their kryptonite, and this just seems to be one of theirs. But honestly, it's a new season. It's a newer team. I like Philly tonight. I think they're gonna finally figure it out. And I just don't see this lasting very long. I think they're too good. They're too talented. And I like Philly going in there and finally getting one over them.
Nick Nurse and his plethora of 6'10" guys, I can see why they've been an issue. But I do like Philly to turn around their season, and it's early in the season. But I do like them tonight. I think James has looked great. I think Joel's been motivated. I want to see a big game for Tyrese Maxey.
Well, last time they played, of course, was the Siakam elbow to Embiid's face, which resulted in an orbital fracture. I mean, if you're Joel Embiid, you're thinking that, right? Like, you woke up this morning thinking that. She's got to be
Absolutely.
Chandler, right?
You definitely don't forget. You definitely don't forget it. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
you break my face. I'm gonna remember.
Every day I think about it. Every day. Also, Hornets, Knicks will be playing both these teams with a 2-1 record, and we've heard about the Lakers perhaps making some sort of trade with Charlotte. This Charlotte team, as it's constituted now, what would they look like if you took Westbrook and put him on there? Would they, I don't know, be a contender of any sort whatsoever? Eddie.
Not a contender, but I think they then become a much more competitive team. If Russ can offer one thing, it's a boost to your offense. If he gets to be the key of that offense, he can make a bad team decent. I think he absolutely can do it. I think that's his role in the league at the moment. Now, if you put him on an established team and minimize his role, you're kind of get what you've got now. So I think it's a decent move for them if they don't have to give up too much. You'd like to see the synergy with LaMelo. Contenders a lot, but this could be a decent team for sure.
It's a heck of a lot. Chandler, let's talk Knicks really quickly because the crowd at MSG seems to be warming up again to Julius Randle. And obviously with Brunson being there, I think they feel optimistic as they often do at the beginning of the season. Can you give them more reason to feel optimistic about this squad?
Yeah, I think they look solid. I think Julius Randle is playing much better. He's obviously, getting the love back from the Garden. I love Jalen Brunson. I think the Mavs made a huge mistake not re-signing him. I think he's one of those floor generals that can score. He can facilitate. And honestly, my guy Cam Reddish, he was my rook in Atlanta. He's shown flashes that he can step in there and he can get a bucket. He can slash. And that kid's got game. And I don't know what happened in Atlanta. It didn't really work out for them. They were wing heavy, but I love that he's kind of flourishing a little bit and get an opportunity there because he's a good kid and he can really play.
Plus the Garden's fun. They need to be good. It's fun. We're going to take a quick break here because things get serious when we come back. We break down the latest in NBA tunnel fashion. Plus parlay time. I swear one of these is going to hit. Run it back next.
Run it back, yeah.
NBA, but make it fashion. Fit or brick. All right, guys. Jaden Hardy, go. I don't know what to do with it.
I love the denim tears hoodie, but those pants. Chandler, I think you can pull those pants off, Chandler.
What?
Bro,
Are they furry?
I don't know what kids are on these days, but that is not it.
He has to be sweltering in those pants. Is that fur? Like,
right?
What is that going on there?
Well, his body language makes it seem like he doesn't love the outfit. He just seems very sad.
I'm assuming he's got a backpack on, right? He's definitely got a backpack on, or he's just hunched over crazy.
And then like a little purse.
Either way, regardless, that's a brick.
That's a brick.
We need to get we're gonna get cards. Okay, Jason Tatum, little beach flare. I don't hate it look, I like pink, obviously, so I don't hate this. What do you guys think?
I love the salmon ones. Is that a cardigan? Like, what is? I don't understand what's going on there. Shout out JT, cool guy.
Where was this game played too? Because I feel like that has a little bit of. This is a Miami game.
It's got to be Miami.
Yeah,
I think
it's acceptable.
Miami.
I don't do I love it? No, but it's not as bad as the first one we saw.
All right, maybe the top different bottoms. That maybe we'll do that. Yeah.
The Celine bag. There's a world where I'm in much, much better physical shape, and this is exactly how I dress every day. I'm with it. I like this. This is a fit to me.
That is confidence, man.
Stop it, Eddie. I mean, my man.
The Prada loafers, the Prada shoe, that's a lot.
The loafers are fire. You know what? Eddie. I like the loafers and I like the white socks with the black loafers. It's just these guys they're watching too much Fashion Week and too many runway shows because no, I can't. I won't. No.
Eddie's acting like the pant. We just glossed over those pant things, whatever those were. Okay, fine. Darius Baisley, yay or nay? That's very, and I know we're not allowed to say his name anymore. Very Cosby Show sweater. Ooh.
Listen, this is more my vibe. This is more better? Casual. I'm not rolling with the hat, but this is better to me.
It's a great photo, by the way. All right, that's going to do it for us on this Wednesday. For Chandler, Eddie, for Shams. We'll be gone, but we'll see you Monday. Enjoy the rest of your week.